Well, all right. Shalom. Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua B'Kathum to the brothers. Shalom Yahweh Shema Alathun Ba'ashim Yahushua to the sisters. We're the Israelite School, Universal Practical Knowledge. Started at 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yana. We are not affiliated with any other Israelite group nor any other Christian organization. All right. So with that, make sure when you check in and sign in, make sure you put your name, city, and states for attendance. All right. Make sure you put your name, city, and state. All right. Name, city, and state. Do not forget that. All right. So tonight's topic, we're going to talk about the lifestyle Black and Latino women have chosen, all right, or it's like they have adopted, okay, all right. All right, we're going to talk about the lifestyle and the culture that Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian women have adopted, man. Now, the reason why we're going to talk about this is because our sisters are living a lifestyle that they are not supposed to be living. Our sisters are living a lifestyle that they have adopted, that we have adopted, that we are not supposed to be living. Now, of course, the topic is focusing on Black and Latino women, but do not misunderstand. Black, Hispanic, and Native American men have also contributed, and there's another word I'm looking for, not just contributed, but there's another word I'm looking for. Not indulge into the lifestyle, but there's a lot of lines of encouraged, but I don't want to use the word encouraged. Enabled. I believe that's the word I'm looking for, enabled. Like Black, Hispanic, and Native American men has assisted Black, Hispanic, and Native American women. We enabled our sisters to adopt this filthy, disgusting lifestyle that our sisters adopted, right? From America. And it's a terrible, terrible thing. It's a terrible, terrible thing, man. But don't forget to put your name, city, and state, all right? But we're going to get into this topic because it's very important to understand their history as well when it comes to our Black, Hispanic, and Native American women. Now, anybody paying attention in class, real quick, does anybody know roughly, does anybody know who started the women's rights movement, by the way, when it comes to women's rights? Who started the women's rights movement? Does anybody know? Because a lot of our sisters talk about a woman's right to do this and a woman's right to do that when it comes to their body, their mind, their soul, and etc., etc. So let's first answer this question. Any brother, any sister out there paying attention in class, who started women's rights, roughly? All right. Anybody know? Does anybody know who roughly started the women's rights? Anybody want to give it a shot? You can even look it up. If not, I'll tell you for time's sake. All right. So the woman that started, okay, so pretty much let me explain something to you. Okay, when it comes to women's rights in America, right? A lot of our sisters have adopted this type of culture, this type of mindset, this type of behavior. Like this all comes and stems from another races of people culture, from another nations of people's culture. Like that's where this stems from. This is where this type of behavior and lifestyle comes from. Now, when it comes to the women's rights, right? It was a so-called white woman, who is our oppressor. An oppressor, right? That's another nation of people, our oppressor, which is another race or another nation of people, started the women's rights movement. Her name was Elizabeth Cady Stanton. She was an American so-called white/Caucasian woman. That's what she would be classified as, right? Now, when it comes to women's rights, it really didn't. Okay, we all believe women's rights is really just about. Okay, anybody tell me online, what do y'all know about women's rights? What was women's rights about? Anybody know? What was women's rights about? While y'all get that, I'm going to get Genesis. Let's get Genesis chapter 28, verse 56. Okay, getting them the right to vote. What else? Okay, all right. Not Genesis, I like it. Deuteronomy chapter 28. Deuteronomy chapter 28. Let's get verse 56. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 56. All right. Okay, women voting, working on the same level as a man. Okay, voting. Okay, women's rights. Okay, in a nutshell, right? That what you guys said was correct. Pretty much, women's rights was really about them being equal to a man, right? On the same level as a man, meaning whatever a man can do, the woman has the ability to do it as well. Meaning, if a man can go out, right, and have sex with whores, because this is coming from the so-called white man. This is our oppressor's lifestyle. Their husbands, right? Our oppressor's lifestyle. Their husbands would go out and have sex with whores and sleep with prostitutes and have sex for money. So like to pay for sex and make women have sex for money. That's what our oppressor would do. So, in women's rights, women felt like, well, we should be able to do the same thing. Meaning we can go out and have sex with whoever and whatever we want to. Because if you can do it, I can do it too. If you can vote, I can vote too. If I can work too. Right? If I can make that much money, I can make that too. If you don't have to be in the house, then I don't have to be in the house too. If you don't have to dress a certain way, then I don't have to dress a certain way too. Like this was all about being equal and doing the same thing as a man. Right? Now that is part of the culture that our women are living today. That's the part of the culture that Black, Hispanic, and Native American women are living today. We have adopted another nation's and another races of people lifestyle and their culture and their traditions when it has nothing to do with our own. It has nothing to do with our people. Like, we don't understand the lifestyle that so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American men, women, and children are living are destroying the structure in the homes and the foundations within our community. The lifestyle we choose to live and the traditions we choose to keep and the culture we choose to follow and the heritage we choose to keep is destroying the Black, Hispanic, and Native American community as we speak. Like, we have no idea, because we believe in women's rights, because Black, Hispanic, and Native American women believe in women's rights and believe that a woman is equal to a man and I can do what men can do. This type of mindset, this type of mentality, this type of lifestyle is destroying our sisters. It's destroying our daughters. Our sisters and daughters were never meant to do what men are to do. Now, of course, what makes it worse is that our women and our daughters are trying to do the very same thing that the men of our oppressors are doing. That's the real problem too as well. Like, they're not just trying to do what black men are doing. They're actually doing what our oppressor is doing. The men of our oppressor are doing. That's really what our sisters are doing. And on top of that, what makes it even worse, our women, our sisters, our daughters had followed the lead and followed the instruction and followed the directions of the women of our oppressors. The women of our oppressors, that's who our sisters follow. That's who our women follow. Our sisters were never meant to be whores. Our sisters were never meant to be prostitutes. Our sisters were never meant to be evil women. Our sisters were never supposed to be shameless women. There was a dress code in our community. There was an act code in our community. You understand? There was a way we were supposed to live in our community. And that structure had completely changed after the 60s. Once we hit into 1970, all the way to year 2021, right? From 20 to 21, the code in the instructions, and it's like not the instructions, but the code in the way we used to live our life has changed absolutely completely since the 60s, man. The moment we hit into the 1970s. And this is something that we have to understand as a nation and a race of people. Now, we're not attacking black, Hispanic, and Native American women here. Because I also said this too, right, in the beginning of the class. Black, Hispanic, and Native American men are also held accountable in these actions too. Yeah, we're going to focus on the lifestyle our black, Hispanic, and Native American women are choosing. But the point of this is trying to teach and give understanding and wisdom to our black, Hispanic, and Native American women to not live and continue to live the lifestyle that we're living, in the lifestyle that they are living. It is a dangerous lifestyle to be a whore and a prostitute and some evil woman. It completely destroys the black, Hispanic, and Native American community. As a sister, you're wondering why. Sisters wonder all the while why they can't keep a man. Well, if you stop being an evil woman, maybe you could keep a man. If you stop putting your man on child support, just maybe you could keep a man. If you stop kicking your man out the house off of the simple fact that he got another woman, maybe you can keep a man. Now, yeah, that might sound far-fetched to most brothers and sisters in here. Mostly, it'll sound far-fetched to a lot of sisters, right? What do you mean he got another woman? What do you mean I'm supposed to kick him out because of that? The Christian church taught our black, Hispanic, and Native American women how to be evil and how to be shameless. And when certain things are done in the house, the Christian church has taught our black, Hispanic, and Native American women to be evil towards our brothers, and evil toward their man, and evil to their husband, and sometimes even evil to their father. You are not supposed to kick a black man out the house when it comes to him getting another woman. It's completely lawful, according to the Bible, for a man to get another wife. But because of the Christian church, when the Christian pastor and the deacons and the bishops taught you that a man is not supposed to get another woman, and is classified as adultery, and is classified as cheating, you have every right to kick him out of your house. And not just kick him out of your house, but put him on child support. Not just put him on child support, but destroy his belongings. Not just destroy his belongings, but take his property and destroy his property. Bust his windows, slash his tiles, slash his tires, burn his house down. And then beat up and try to murder and kill the other woman he's sleeping with. The Christian church enabled this type of behavior. Our oppressor enabled this type of behavior when it comes to black, Hispanic, and Native American women. But in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, we are going to teach black, Hispanic, and Native American women how not to live this disgusting and absolutely insane and inane lifestyle. That's what we're going to do here in today's class. And we're also going to learn the history when it comes to black, Hispanic, and Native American women. You understand? That's what we're going to learn. That's what we're going to do. All right? If you guys have any questions, if anybody has any questions, Bubba Krashad, meaning please, Bubba Krashad, put it into the live chat type your questions in, and we will get to your questions and we will answer your questions. All right. So do not be afraid to ask any questions during class. It's no problem at all. Just make sure you put it into the live chat. All right. So your question can be answered. All right. I'm sure that you guys have questions. Do not be afraid to ask your question. Okay, because your question can be very easy. Actually, usually it is very easy to answer. It's not really too hard to answer questions. All right. All right. Unless it's some crazy scientific question, and then it may take some time to answer, but it's never hard. All right, it's never hard, very easy. Just ask your questions, all right? So we're going to be in Deuteronomy chapter 28. We're going to be in Deuteronomy chapter 28, and we're going to start at verse 56. We're going to get Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 56. Now, we're in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28. And let me give you a recap. In Deuteronomy 28, the Lord explains blessings and cursings, all right, when it comes to the children of Israel. If you do not know now, if this is your first time in class, if you haven't been to class before, it's all right. If you do not know now, so-called black Hispanics and Native American men, women, and children are God's chosen people. If you are black in America, if you are classified as black in America or Negro in America, you are God's chosen people. If you are Latino, if you're Cuban, if you're Mexican, if you're Puerto Rican, if you're El Salvadorian, if you're Dominican, if you're Costa Rican, all right, if you're Peruvian, if you're Brazilian, you are classified to be God's chosen people according to the Bible. You are the Israelites. We are the Israelites. If you are so-called Native American, or Native Indian, like the Choctaw, or the Navajo, or the Iroquois, or the Blackfoot, or the Creek, or the Mohegans, or the Mohawkins, or the Cherokee, or the Seminoles, you are, or the Salaki, or the Creeks, you are God's chosen people. The Apache, the Panchi, the Comanche, you are classified to be God's chosen people. You are the Israelites according to the Bible. We are God's chosen people, all right? And in Deuteronomy chapter 28, from 1 and down explains blessings. And then it comes from 1 to 13. From Deuteronomy chapter 28, verses 1 through 13, it explains the blessings if we keep God's laws, statutes, and commandments. But we have to understand that it's very important for black, Hispanic, and Native American men, women, and children to keep the laws of God, all right? We need a foundation of law, all right, of specifically God's law in the black, Hispanic, and Native American community in order to survive. Like there is a certain and a particular law that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans need to survive and to live and to be successful and to be prosperous in life. There's a classified law. There's a specific law that we need. We have America's law in our communities. We have America's traditions within our communities. We have America's culture in our communities. We have America's heritage in our communities. And because we have that culture and that heritage and those traditions and their laws in our community, we suffer because of it. There's a particular specific law that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans need within their community, and that's the laws of God. And that's going to be explained in Deuteronomy 28, verses 1 through 13. Like, this is what we have to understand. We have to keep the laws of God. Because of the Christian church, we now believe that we can smoke weed and get high, smoke blacks, and smoke cigarettes. We believe we can have sex with whores and prostitutes and buy hoes all over the internet and have sex with them and just dip and leave and do whatever the hell we want. We believe we can eat pork, eat shrimp, eat lobster, have seafood boils, have some pork chops and some pork ribs, and celebrate the 4th of July, and celebrate Christmas, and celebrate birthdays, because we do not understand that we have to keep the laws of God. No thanks to the Christian church, and no thanks to America, we believe we do not have to keep the laws of God. But when we don't keep the laws of God, when we don't keep God's statutes and commandments, we suffer behind that. We suffer because of that. And we struggle because of it. And it's a shame. And it's sad to see it. It's sad to lay our eyes on it. And it's been like that from the very beginning. You understand? Everybody feel me? So, with that being said, let's get Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 56. Now, from 14 and down, or from 15 and down in Deuteronomy chapter 28, verses 14 and down, or 15 from down, these are the curses if we don't keep God's laws, statutes, and commandments. And this is something that we have to understand. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 56. It says, the tender and delicate woman among you. So it says, the tender and delicate woman among you. Does anybody know what it means to be tender? Does anybody know what it means to be tender? Anybody? What does it mean to be tender? Anybody? Tender and delicate. What does it mean? Does anybody know what it means to be tender or delicate? What does it mean to be tender or delicate? Anybody? What does it mean to be tender and delicate? Soft. Okay, soft. Okay. Okay, soft. Right. Tender means to be. So when it says the tender and delicate woman among you, right? Meaning, so the tender, right? Tender means to be soft. You guys are absolutely correct. Tender means to be soft. And it says and delicate. Now what does delicate mean? So tender means soft. What does it mean and delicate? The tender and delicate. What does it mean? The tender and delicate. Tender means soft. So what does delicate mean? Anybody? What does delicate mean? It says tender and delicate. Tender meaning soft. Right? Now what does delicate mean? Anybody want to give it a shot? What does delicate mean? Anybody online, anybody in class? What does delicate mean? Anybody want to give it a shot? What does it mean to be delicate? Give y'all a few more moments and I'll answer it for you. Okay, gentle. Okay, delicate, gentle. Okay, I can take that. Anybody else? I can take gentle. Okay, gentle. Okay, yeah, I'll take that. Being gentle. Okay, I can take that. Okay, gentle. I can take gentle. Okay, fragile. Okay, I can take that too. Okay, I can most definitely take that too. Okay. All right. Okay, so now, you guys are pretty much, so when it says the tender, meaning soft, and delicate, meaning that woman, okay, when it means to be delicate, you have to like meaning easily to be broken, right? Fragile. But also on the lines of being pleasant. Salaki. Being pleasant. Being delicate. When the Lord talks about being delicate, at one point in time, right, our sisters were tender and delicate. They were soft. They were sweet. They were kind. Like that's what it means to be tender and delicate. You ever heard the song back in the day, TLC? Everyone used to say that term back in the day, TLC, meaning tender, loving care, right? Well, that's tender and delicate, meaning to be soft, to be kind, to be sweet, to be beautiful, inside and out. That's what it means to be tender and delicate. So Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 56, the tender and delicate woman among you. It says the soft, the sweet, the beautiful, the kind women that's among us, right? Among us. The Lord says, which would not adventure to set the sole of her feet upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness. It said, which would not adventure, meaning to adventure, which would not adventure, meaning to go out and about. Adventure, when you are going to adventure, meaning you are going out and about. Meaning you are leaving the house and going out and about. It said, which would not adventure to set the sole of her foot. Meaning the sole of her foot, like the bottom of her foot, upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness. At one point in time, our sisters were so soft and so kind and so sweet and so beautiful, their feet wouldn't even touch the ground. Their foot, the sole of their foot wouldn't even touch the ground. That's how soft and beautiful and sweet and kind our sisters were at one point. Like, this is the history of Black, Hispanic, and Native American sisters. At one point in time, the sole of our sister's foot, the sole of our sister's foot, the sole of our sister's feet didn't even touch the ground. Now that's soft. That's gentle. Now we got sisters running around everywhere. We got our sisters, our daughters, our mothers, our aunties running around, running a goddamn muck in the Black, Hispanic, and Native American community. At one point in time, our women, our mothers, our daughters, our sisters, our aunties, at one point in time, their foot didn't even touch the ground. That's what the Lord's saying. That's what the Lord's saying. Nowadays, they're in Puerto Rico somewhere, they're in the DR, they're somewhere in Miami, they're somewhere in Mexico, twerking, gyrating, being a goddamn whore, and being the goddamn best whore they can ever be. Living their best life. That's what our sisters are doing now. That's what our mothers are doing now. Now our mothers are taking their 4 and 5-year-old children and dropping them off at grandma's house or dropping them off at some goddamn stranger's house and going to Mexico and twerk and have sex with any man that she chooses. And sometimes not just even one. More than 3. Talking about I'm living my best life. It's complicated. I'm just trying to live my life. I'm just trying to get away for a little bit. That's what our sisters are doing now. But at one point in time, it was never like that. Our sisters wouldn't even adventure. The Lord said our sisters wouldn't even venture, meaning they stayed their tails inside the goddamn house. That's what our sisters did. They stayed in the damn house where they belonged. Now, are we saying a sister can't go outside? That's not what we're saying. That is not what we're saying. But we're saying at one point in time, our mothers and our sisters knew to stay in the goddamn home where they belong and took care of it just like a father would and just like a husband would. But of course, in the standards and in the way that a mother would take care of the home, or a wife would take care of the home, or a sister or a daughter would take care of the home. At one point in time, the Lord said the foot in the soles of our sister's foot wouldn't even touch the ground. But let's see what the Lord continues to say. Her eye, the Lord says her eye shall be evil. Like, this is what happens now in the Black, Hispanic, and Native American community when it comes to our sisters, right? It said, now this is a curse in the Bible. Like, this is where this is what we have to understand. It is a curse the way our Black, Hispanic, and Native American women are now. It's a curse that they are no longer tender and delicate. It is a curse that they are no longer sweet and kind. It's a curse that our sisters and our mothers and our daughters are no longer soft, according to the Lord, in the way mothers and daughters and sisters and wives are supposed to be. It's a curse for our sisters not to be like that. It's a curse for our women to not to be like that. It's a curse for a woman to open up her mouth and be loud as hell and obnoxious for no goddamn reason and yelling off and doesn't know how to shut her goddamn mouth when she needs to shut it. That's a curse in the Bible. It is not soft and tender for a woman to overspeak over a man. That's not soft. That's not delicate. If you are a woman and you're talking over a man when a man is speaking, you are far from being a woman according to the Lord. You are far from being soft and tender and delicate when it comes to being a woman of the Lord. You are to shut your mouth and be quiet. That's what it means to be. That's what it means to be soft and tender and delicate. You out here getting brolic and getting hard and be like, yeah, I told you this, I told you that with the finger. That's not soft. That's not delicate. That's not a life of a princess. That's not what a princess is supposed to be. Not at all. Not according to the Lord. It's a curse for our sisters, man. It's a curse for our sisters to be the way they are in the Black, Hispanic, and Native American community, man. It's a curse for a sister to be a goddamn monster in their house and be a goddamn monster in her home and treat her husband as if he's nothing and yelling at him every goddamn day about how much he can't do this, he can't do that. Even though we're all poor and even though we're all in poverty in America, you're going to continue to break this man down and take this man down instead of encouraging him. That's a curse in the Bible for our women. For our women to go out and destroy property and destroy belongings of a brother because he got another wife and because he got another woman, slashing his tires, breaking his windows, breaking his PS4, breaking his Xbox One, or whatever the hell the new systems are, breaking his TV, cutting up his Jordans, cutting up his laces, burning his clothes, throwing all his clothes outside, and making a goddamn scene out there. That's a curse in the Bible. That's a curse, right? That's a curse according to the scriptures, man, of our sisters, man. It's a curse for our sisters and our mothers and our daughters and our aunties to live like that. It's absolutely ridiculous and it's absolutely horrible. We were never supposed to live like that. That lifestyle is so filthy and so disgusting, and we have to understand it. You understand? It's time for our sisters to get their emotions in check. It's time for our daughters to get their emotions in check. It's time for our wives and our mothers to get their emotions in check. How will that happen? How can that happen? Well, for starters, get an actual goddamn man in the goddamn house. Not some Christian man, but get a real solid man that's truly about God in your goddamn house. And maybe the emotions of your mother, your daughter, and your wife will be in check, and your sister will be in check. Women need men. Women need men to teach them what it truly means to be a woman according to the Most High. I'll say that one more time. Black, Hispanic, and Native American women need Black, Hispanic, and Native American men, specifically strong Black, Hispanic, and Native American men, to teach them how to truly be a woman of God according to the Bible. All right? And those men are found back here in the Isupk, in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. We don't play around. Salaki. We don't play around when it comes to our sisters. We don't play around when it comes to our mothers. We don't play around when it comes to our daughters. And we don't play around when it comes to our wives. We make sure they have some goddamn order. We make sure they are soft. We make sure they are tender. That they are delicate. We make sure they are soft and sweet and kind and pleasant. So sweet and so soft and so kind that the soles of their foot wouldn't even touch the ground. That's what we do back here in the Isupk. That's what we do right here. And we are strong, masculine, Black, Hispanic, Latino, Nativo Americano, and Native American men back here. That's who we are. That's something that we have to understand. All right. And it says, Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 56, her eye shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom, It says her eye shall be evil. Like, what does it mean? Like, anybody online, what does it mean to have an evil eye? What does it mean to have an evil eye? Anybody? Give me some examples. Give me some examples of an evil eye. The Lord said she will have, the Lord said her eye shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom. It says evil, an evil eye. It said her eye shall be evil. What does it mean to have an evil eye? Well, to answer this question, we would have to know what evil is. What does it mean to be evil? Anybody? What does it mean to be evil? Anybody? What does it mean to be evil? The Lord said she shall, the Lord said her eye shall be evil toward her. So what does it mean to be evil? Okay, to be wicked. Give me examples of some wickedness. Give me some examples of what it means to be evil. Like, let me explain. I'll tell you for time's sake. Evil, man. Evil means, okay, this is what it means. Sleep around. That is evil. That's an example of being evil. Give the sister a hand, that's true. Like, this is what happens to be evil, right? By definition, evil means terrible conduct, right? Meaning terrible behavior, terrible conduct. Like, that's what it means to be evil. Meaning bad character or bad conduct. Terrible behavior, right? Or bad conduct. Like, that's evil. And according to the Lord, evil is something that goes absolutely against God's law, statutes, and commandments. Like, that's what it means to be evil as well. Meaning evil, to be evil means that there's an action being done behind that word. Like, evil meaning, and evil means there's an action done. In order for you to be evil, there had to be something to be done that had to be considered evil. Like, I can't just be evil just by doing absolutely nothing. There has to be an action, right? There has to be some form of action being done. There has to be a verb being used there in order to be evil. And it deals with our character. And it deals with our conduct. And the conduct of our women, the conduct and the character of our Black, Hispanic, and Native American women have become evil, no thanks to the Christian church. The conduct and the character of our Black, Hispanic, and Native American women have become evil, no thanks to our oppressor. Became evil, no thanks to America, man. Now, when it comes to says her eye shall be evil, man. Like, what does it mean? Like, her character, man. Like, what is this sister doing that's evil? Like, this is what it, like, this is a curse in the Bible for our sisters to be evil. To have bad, terrible character and conduct. It is evil. It says her eye shall be evil. Meaning she's going to be doing something that's considered evil. Right? It says toward the husband of her bosom. Right? The husband of her bosom. Now, a bosom is a woman's body, like a woman's breast specifically. Like that's what it is. Right? Belittling him. Right? These are different type of examples of evil. Like, you being a whore on your husband is evil. For you wanting to put your hands on your husband and try to beat him up and try to cut him up and try to shoot him. These are evil things, man. For you to go out and break his windows and slash his tires and break his car and burn up his belongings and throw his belongings out and beat up his other woman. These are things that are evil toward the husband of her bosom, man. Like, this is something that we have to understand. Like, this is a curse in the Bible for our sisters to be like this. For our sisters to be so evil and to run their actions and their emotions off of jealousy is goddamn evil. And that's something that we have to understand. For you to belittle your man and say that he's nothing and not encourage him and build him up as a woman should be able to do, to encourage her man to be great and support her man to be great. You are evil as a sister, man. That is a curse in the Bible. That is a curse according to the law for our sisters, man. And this lifestyle has been adopted and enabled by the Christian church. This lifestyle and this culture have been adopted and enabled by America. And us Black, Hispanic, and Native American men, we have to start enabling this culture. Like, it's very easy as Black, Hispanic, and Native American men to enable this culture. If you truly want your women, if you truly want our women to stop being evil to you, then stop accepting what the hell they're doing. As a simple fact of telling that woman to shut the hell up, you're no longer enabling that woman to live this disgusting lifestyle. For you to tell that woman to get in the goddamn house and put some goddamn clothes on because your breasts are out and I can damn near see your camel toe, you are now not enabling this filthy, disgusting lifestyle that our sisters have adopted from our oppressor, from America, and enabled by the Christian church. You are now not enabling this lifestyle. Like, this is something that we have to understand as Black, Hispanic, and Native American men. Right? This is something that we have to understand. If we want our women to stop being evil towards us, then we have to start being righteous. Does anybody know that? Did anybody know that? Anybody? Did you know it's in the Bible? For Black men, if we want our women to stop being wicked and evil, then we have to be righteous. If you are not righteous and you want to enable wicked behavior, which means you love wickedness, meaning you love to be wicked yourself, well, obviously you're going to attract wicked, evil women. That's what's going to happen. It makes perfect sense, right? It's almost like it's logic. 1 plus 1 is 2. Like, if you're wicked yourself and you love wickedness, then you start enabling wickedness, then all you're going to do is attract wickedness. That's what you're going to do. So if we want our sisters to stop being evil, then we have to stop being evil ourselves. It's evil as a Black, Hispanic, and Native American man to allow your woman to open up her mouth disrespectfully towards you and not in order. That's evil for you to do. You're doing more harm to that sister than good. It's good for you to tell her to shut the hell up. It's good to tell her to shut up and be quiet. Shakwat in the Hebrew. Shatham in the Hebrew. Shatham meaning shut up. Shakwat meaning be quiet. These are words that our sisters need to learn. These are words our sisters need to be used to hearing. I say shakwat or shatham yad, meaning all the time. Be quiet. Shut up. Why are you talking like this? Why are you raising your voice? It's evil as a brother to allow that to happen. Because you're doing that sister more harm than good. You understand? You're doing that sister more harm than good. If you don't tell her to shut her mouth and tell her to be quiet and teach her how to speak properly to a man, then maybe she wouldn't be dragged out her goddamn car and get beat half to death at a traffic stop and end up like Sandra Bland. Now, no one's blaming that sister, by the way, because that sister is completely innocent. And that devil is wrong for murdering that sister unjustly. But just maybe our sister could still be alive if she knew how to conduct herself properly. Just like maybe some of these brothers will still be alive in our community if we knew how to conduct ourselves properly according to the Lord. We have to be taught that, though. There's a proper way to deal. There's a proper way to deal with things in certain situations. And I'll tell you one thing. There's no good reason to raise your voice in any situation. There is none. There's no need to raise your voice in any other situation. No one needs to raise their voice. No one. Especially if it's only one thing. Now, of course, you're going to raise your voice. Of course, as a brother or a sister, you may raise your voice if something's being done more than once, and this is like the third or fourth time you're trying to tell somebody something, understood. Understood. But that's a case-by-case scenario. Like, this is what we have to understand, man. Like, we have to understand as Black, Hispanic, and Native American men. We have to stop enabling this evil culture and this evil behavior that our women have adopted from our oppressor, has adopted from America, and has been enabled from the Christian church. This is something that we have to do, man. We have to stop accepting our sisters being whores and being prostitutes and being hoes. We have to stop enabling that behavior. We have to stop chasing that type of lifestyle. Once we stop chasing that, and once we stop enabling that lifestyle, our sisters will stop being whores and stop being prostitutes. You wondering why? You wondering why our sisters are still smoking weed and getting high? Because we're still choosing as Black, Hispanic, and Native American men to have sex with these women, even though they're getting high out of their goddamn mind and destroying their bodies. You understand? And that's true, Agua. Like, these chicks are out here acting like men. And that's evil. For a woman to have the attributes in the physical behavior of a man is absolutely evil. For a woman to be like a man and to start thinking like a man is absolutely evil. And it says her eyes shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom. Like, this is a curse in the Bible that our brothers and sisters, man, it's like it, that our sisters become evil toward the man that they lay down with the man that is their husband. Like, that is a curse in the Bible for our sisters to be that way. And it says, and toward her son. Like, this is what we have to understand too. It says, and toward her son. Like, it is a curse in the Bible for our sisters to be like this. It says, and toward her son, meaning she's also evil toward her son. She absolutely emasculates her son. Now, that's another topic too, man. Salakia, when it comes to emasculation, does anybody know what it means to emasculate? Quickly. Anybody know what it means to emasculate? What does it mean to emasculate? What does it mean to emasculate? La'ah, not do men things. What does it mean to emasculate? To emasculate. Take away manhood, attributes of a man. Give the aqua a hand. That's exactly what it means to emasculate. Right. Right. Anybody else? Take away manhood, attributes of a man. Right? Strip man of what makes a man a man. Khan says, I hate that word too. Emasculate. Black, Hispanic, and Native American women, man, they have absolutely indulged in the behavior, right, and emasculating Black, Hispanic, and Native American men. Like, our oppressor has done enough when it comes to emasculating Black, Hispanic, and Native American men in America. Like, our oppressor in America has done enough of that when it comes to emasculation. But our sisters has assisted in helping America. It's like it insisted in helping America to further emasculate Black, Hispanic, and Native American men. And then the Christian church backs up the Black, Hispanic, and Native American women when it comes to emasculating the Black, Hispanic, and Native American man. Like, this is something that we also have to discuss and talk about. By definition, emasculate means to deprive of strength, vigor, or spirit, meaning weaken, right? To deprive of strength, vigor, or spirit, meaning to weaken. Meaning, when you emasculate a Black, Hispanic, and Native American man, meaning you are weakening that brother. You are weakening that man. Definition 2, to deprive of virility or procreative power, meaning to castrate. Now here's a trivia question. Now here's a trivia question that most sisters may not want to answer. But any brother or sister online, what does it mean to deprive of virility or procreative power? How do you deprive a brother from his procreative power? How do you do it? How do sisters today deprive brothers from the procreative power, from the virility? How do sisters do it today? How do mommies do it today? Huh? That's one way, becoming a lesbian. That's one way. What else? That's one way. Child support. Okay, that's one way. What else? That's one way. There's another way. But becoming a lesbian is true. Child support is a good answer too. Get your in vitro. I don't know what in vitro means. I don't know what that is. Salakia. I don't know what that means. Abortions, not so much abortions, but that's I don't know. I don't know if I want to take abortions, because that's more so sisters just destroying your children. Well, you know what? I could take abortions. Aqua. I just thought about it. I'll take abortions as an answer. Get in vitro fertilization. Oh, okay, I know what you mean. Okay, that could be one. What else? Salaki, what else? There's another one. Some of y'all sisters may not want to admit this one, but there's another one. Maybe a brother might have to answer this one, so we can just break the ice. All right? A lot of Akwafian are giving good answers, but a lot of the Akwafian don't want to give the answer. All right? What's the answer? Being a feminist? Being dominant? Okay. These are answers. These are good answers. There is another good answer that a lot of sisters do in the Christian church. A lot of sisters do in the world as we speak right now. Right? Talking back and not shutting up? No. Okay. What does it mean to procreate? Does anybody know what it means to procreate? What does it mean to procreate? Oh, that's funny. Well, not quite. I mean, kind, I guess, but what does it mean to procreate? What does it mean to procreate? Anybody? Online. I might have to give it to you slow. Okay, knocking boots. Procreate. Okay, have sex. Okay. All right. Being fruitful. Okay. So knocking boots and having sex and being fruitful is what according to the Bible? Okay? I'm going to walk you through it. What does knocking boots and having sex and being fruitful, all right? What is that according to the Bible? Sex is what according to the Bible? All right, maybe I'll answer. Sex is what according to the Bible? What is sex according to the Bible? Marriage. That's correct. Sex is marriage according to the Bible. Give the aqua a hand. She's correct. Right. Ayan, you're correct. Sex is marriage according to the Bible. That's correct. So, I'll ask one more time. If sex is marriage according to the Bible, and procreating deals with marriage, right? Because sex is marriage according to the Bible. If procreating is knocking boots and having sex, right? And sex is marriage according to the Bible, then I'll ask the question one more time. How do sisters today stop men from procreating? Because this is a form of emasculation that we have to understand in the Black, Hispanic, and Native American community. Withholding the cookies, not quite. Not getting married, not quite. Oh, well, I mean, close. Not getting married. Close. How about we break the Christianity off? We have to break the Christianity off here. That's what's happening. A lot of brothers and sisters may not be able to answer this question because we have to scratch the Christianity off of our minds. Sometimes this is a habit when we're coming into the truth, right? And sometimes even being in the truth, we have like little remnants of Christianity because we're so used to Christianity that when we see certain things, it just automatically pops up in your head again. Not being homosexual, no. I'll give y'all one more try, and I'm going to give y'all the answer. All right, everybody gets one more shot, and I'm going to give y'all the answer. How do women today stop Black, Hispanic, and Native American men from procreating? Not celibacy. Not celibacy. Not celibacy. Not celibacy. Not being homosexual. Okay, one aqua gave up. No sweat, no sweat. Because he doesn't have the status of money. Not abortion. All right. Here's the answer. All right. Getting another wife. Getting another wife. Getting another woman. That is another way how Black, Hispanic, and Native American women stop Black, Hispanic, and Native American men from procreating. That is a form of emasculation. When you go through your man's phone and try to stop him from going outside and going out with the boys or whatever the case may be, you are emasculating that brother. When you go through his phone and talk about who you talking to, you can't talk to females no more. While you with me, you can't talk to no woman. It's either me or her. This is emasculation. You are emasculating that brother. Now, these are not my words. I'm just letting you know that when you emasculate a man, this is what happens. This is what a lot of Black, Hispanic, and Native American women do on a day-to-day basis. As we're talking right now, as class is going on right now, there's some sister out there going through her man's phone and trying to stop him from getting another woman. That's emasculation. But what if he chooses not to be with another woman? Then what? Well, you are not emasculating that man because he made a decision to not get another woman. But when you are forcing to make that brother make the decision that you want him to make by not getting another woman, that's emasculation. Does that answer your question, Aqua? So it says, and toward her son. Like a lot of Black, Hispanic, and Native American women, right, are evil towards the sons of their children, right, and toward her daughter. Like towards the children, man. Like it's a curse in the Bible for our sisters to be evil towards her children, to be evil towards her son, to be evil towards her daughter, man. It's absolutely evil to go toe to toe with your daughter and fight your daughter and call her some whore, some hoe, and call her be this and be that, and y'all just fussing with each other in the goddamn house. That's evil. These are characteristics of an evil woman. If you are out there telling your son, right? If you're out there being evil towards your son and emasculating him and breaking his Xbox in front of him and breaking his PS4 in front of him and telling him to shut the up and shut the hell up, and you got no business doing all this other stuff, that is being evil towards your son. And telling him that his father is no good. And telling him that his father doesn't want to be there, even though his father wants to be there. That's being evil towards your son. That's also being evil towards your daughter. Because they're jealous of the daughters or the sons look like their father. Right. Like you cannot be evil towards the daughter or the son just because of what? You can't be evil towards your son because he looks like the father, because he looks like the man that you laid down with. You can't treat your son like that. You can't persecute your son like that. Like these are signs of an evil woman. Let me see. I'm going to go to verse 57 for time's sake too. Verse 57. And toward her young one that cometh out from between her feet, and shall toward her children which she shall bear. So now it says, and toward her young one that cometh out from between her feet, and toward her children which she shall bear. How are women evil towards the young that come between her feet? And how are women evil towards the children that she bear? How is a woman evil towards them? Give me an example of a woman being evil towards the young that comes between her feet and the children that she shall bear. Meaning she will bear, right? Meaning she's supposed to bear this child. So how are women being evil? Like there's a curse in the Bible to be evil towards the young ones that come between a sister's feet. It's a curse in the Bible for a sister to be evil towards the children which she shall bear, abusing them. Okay, right. What else? Another one. Give me the main one. Some of y'all gave me this answer before. Like we have to understand, like this is the lifestyle that our sisters chose. This is the lifestyle that our sisters adopted from our oppressor. Right? Letting the boyfriend molest them. That's correct. That's another way. That's evil. There are sisters out there that will allow their man to molest their daughter or to molest their son. They will allow it to happen. For God knows what reason these destroyed sisters out here will allow that to happen. And then on top of that, abuse that boy and abuse that little girl. What else? For time's sake, I'll give it to you. Abortion. When a woman decides to murder that child within her womb, that is an evil, wicked, disgusting act. That is a curse in the Bible for us to murder our young and to kill our young. That is a curse in the Bible. No other species on the goddamn planet kills their children more than Black, Hispanic, and Native American women in America. Keep that in mind. No species alive kills their young more than black, Hispanic, and Native American women in America. Now that's sad. And that's a fact. No species on this goddamn earth kills their young that much. And there are species that will kill their young. You understand? Like, it's natural and normal for certain species to kill their young. Like, that's a normality. But no other species on this earth kills more of their young than black, Hispanic, and Native American women in America. Now, that's something to think about. Now, that's goddamn crazy, ain't it? Let's drop that, and we're gonna get let's get Deuteronomy, Salakia. Let's get Ecclesiasticus. Let's get Ecclesiasticus, Salakia, verse 26. Ecclesiasticus chapter 26, verse 25. Ecclesiasticus chapter 26 verse 25. A shameless woman shall be counted as a dog. Now, does anybody know what it means to be a shameless woman? Does anybody know what does it mean to be a shameless woman? It says a shameless woman. What does it mean to have shame? What does it mean? What is shame? What does it mean to have shame? Anybody know what it means to have shame? What does it mean to be shameless? So what does it mean to have shame? Anybody? Anybody online, anybody in class, what does it mean to have shame? What does it mean to actually have some goddamn shame? Guilt. Okay? Guilt. Alright, what does guilt have to do? What does guilt deal with? Okay, without a care. Okay, Most High in Christ. So you guys are pretty much spot on. Anybody else want to give an answer? What does it mean to have shame? Okay, the Aqua said guilt. The trooper said a woman without a care. Okay. What else is there? What else is there? All right. To have some shame, right? A woman without a care, guilt. It's all deals with your conscience. Meaning you care about something. Like you have a strong emotion towards something. You have a conscience towards something. So to be shameless, meaning you don't care. Right? To be, listen, the Lord says right here, Ecclesiasticus chapter 26, verse 25, a shameless woman, to be shameless, meaning you have no shame, meaning you have no guilt, you have no care, you have no conscience, meaning you don't care, shall be counted as a dog. So when you are shameless, meaning you don't care, meaning you walk out the house any type you want, you dress like a whore, you are a whore, you are okay with selling your body, you are okay being loud and obnoxious and opening up your goddamn mouth whenever you choose like it's okay to open it. You are okay with treating your man and not encouraging man. Like these are, you have no conscience. You are goddamn shameless. And the Lord said, a shameless woman shall be counted as a dog. The Lord just said a shameless woman, meaning a woman that doesn't care, a woman that doesn't have a moral conscience, that doesn't really care about how she dresses, how she looks, what she says, what she speaks about, and etc., etc. Like, that's the problem with Black, Hispanic, and Native American women today. No thanks to the adoption of the culture of our oppressor of America. You understand? No thanks to our oppressor in America. Our sisters, Black, Hispanic, and Native American women do not care about how they talk, how they walk, how they speak, how they dress, how they, etc., etc. They have no goddamn shame. They don't care if they're known being a whore. You can act, listen, women nowadays, man, are okay that they're able to suck another man's rod. Actually, no, Salakia. Women are now okay with boasting the fact that they can suck another man's rod in 5 minutes, or suck 3 rods within 5 minutes. Women boast about that. Women boast about having trains ran on them. Where's the shame? Women are okay with trains being ran on them. You understand that? Where is the shame? Women are okay, right? Women are okay with going outside with nothing on, with tape on their nipples, and just underwear on, with a fishnet. Women don't care. Where is the shame? And the Lord said what? The Lord said, a shameless woman shall be counted as a dog. What is a dog? What did the Lord call this woman? What is a female dog? Remember, this sentence is talking about women. So it says, shall be counted as a dog. This is talking about, the Lord said, correct. The Lord said this woman will be counted as a, you know what, a female dog. That's what the Lord said. Right? A female dog. A shameless woman shall be counted as a dog. Stop being this female dog. You understand? Stop being it. Stop barking all the time and have some shame. Dogs don't care, right? Dogs don't care, right, about what they do, what they're doing, no matter what time it is. Dogs don't care. They don't care at all. They'll lick themselves anywhere, anyhow, whenever they want to. They don't care. They're shameless. Dogs, right, will do anything that they want to do and what they feel like doing. That's why the Lord said women shall be counted as a dog. This is referring to women, meaning it's a woman dog. This woman is being called a dog. The definition of that word, right? Y'all said it for me already, right? It literally means female dog. Right? Some are aggressive and they hump anywhere. That's what female dogs do. You understand? When female dogs are in heat, they do whatever they want to do anywhere at any time. Listen, this is not, you are not a dog. Black, Hispanic, and Native American women are not allowed to be female dogs back here. You understand that? Everybody understands that? You are not allowed to be a shameless woman. Because if you are a shameless woman, you would be considered this dog. You would be considered a female dog. But she that is shamefaced will fear the Most High. And it says she that is shamefaced will fear the Most High. Meaning a woman that is shamefaced, meaning she cares how she dresses. She cares how she speaks. She cares how she adorns herself. She cares how she approaches situations. She cares about her body and who sees it and who does. She cares who she has sex with. She cares who's around her children. And that's what but she that is shamefaced, meaning she has some shame. She has a conscience, right? She cares, will fear the Most High. Meaning she will fear the Most High. Meaning she will do what the Lord says to do. You understand? Let's get Leviticus. Let's get Leviticus chapter 19. I believe verse 29. Let's see, 29. Leviticus chapter 19, verse 29. Do not prostitute thy daughter. It says, do not prostitute thy daughter. Like, this is what we have to understand in the Black, Hispanic, and Native American community. We have to stop enabling our sisters in this disgusting, God forbid, lifestyle that our sisters have adopted from our oppressor. It says, do not prostitute thy daughter. Meaning we are not allowed to allow our daughters to be prostitutes and whores and hoes. Like, our women will have sex with you because you have money. And some of our sisters will have sex with you because you will give them money for sex. The Lord said, do not prostitute thy daughter, to cause her to be a whore. Meaning we are not to cause our daughter to be a whore at any means necessary. Right. No hot girl summer over here. You are staying your black behind in the goddamn house this summer. From July to September. God damn it, December. Especially in my household. From September to September. I don't know what a summer is. You understand? Like, that's how important it is, man. Like, we are not to allow our daughters to be whores and prostitutes, man. No way, man. Like, we have to teach our daughters it's not okay for you to have sex with a man for money. Nor is it okay for you to look for a man that has money. You're whoring yourself out. You're prostituting yourself out. Getting a man and getting a husband has nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with a financial situation. When you make getting a man and having sex with a man and laying down with a man about money in his financial situation, you have now became a whore. You have now became a prostitute. Does everybody understand that? I'm not speaking Chinese here, am I? You understand that? This is just 1 + 1 is 2. If you are a woman, right? If you are a woman and you base getting a man off of money or laying down with a man based off how much money he has, you just prostituted yourself. Now vice versa. As a man, because the Lord says, because the Lord is talking to the men here, right? It says, do not prostitute thy daughter. They're talking, now, of course, the Lord is talking to the Israelites here. So like, not just specifically men, but men and women. But now it says, do not prostitute thy daughter. So like, to cause her to be a whore. Now, same thing for black men. Same thing for Latino, Nativo Americano, Native American men. It says, right, do not prostitute thy daughter to cause her to be a whore. When you make getting a woman about how much money you have, and how much money you can spend on her, and how much money you can give her, once you based off getting a woman that way, you are now whoring that sister out. You are now making that woman into a whore. I forgot the term back in the day. So like, what's that term for, what is that? There's a term that they call that what men did. Oh man. I forgot what, it was an old school term that would be used for black men that would give sisters money and all this stuff when it comes to Nah, man, I forgot. Okay, yeah, pimp. Salakia. Kind of pimp. But there's another word for it. I think it's with a J. I think it's with a J. Salakia. I think the word I'm thinking of is with a J. Oh, man. No, T. Tricking. Trick. Salakia. Like, tricking, man. Everybody, do y'all remember what it means to trick? Anybody remember what it means to trick? Kind of lie. Kind of lie. Does anybody know? When you start tricking, does anybody know what it means to trick? Anybody? Like, the Lord is against tricking. You understand? Like, tricking enables the behavior of our daughters becoming whores and becoming prostitutes and sluts and hoes. You understand that? Like, that's what happens when you're pimping and tricking, right? We enable that lifestyle as Black, Hispanic, and Native American men, and we are not to do it, and we are not to do so. We have to stop our daughters. We have to stop our mothers, our wives, our sisters, our daughters from this disgusting lifestyle that they have adopted from our oppressor in America. This is something that we have to do. All right? And it says, lest the land fall to order and the land become full of wickedness. Like right now, we are in the land of wickedness. We are in the land of order right now. Like America is the land of order. Like America is literally the land of wickedness. Like I think I say this almost, actually I don't say this every class, but I always say this on a sidebar, and I may have not said this in class, but this is so funny, right? A gigolo, kind of gigolo. Now this is so crazy, right? Like this is how you know the white man is the damn devil that the Bible speaks of. So like it, our oppressor is the goddamn devil that the Bible speaks of, and this is why he's the devil that the Bible speaks of, man. Here's why. Being a prostitute, right? Being a whore, like being a prostitute throughout America, I think, except in Nevada, in what was that place called again? Las Vegas. Excluding Las Vegas, throughout America, being a prostitute is illegal, meaning it's against the law. Being a prostitute is when you have sex for money. Being a prostitute is when you accept sexual favors for money. You understand that, right? That's what a prostitute is. In America, being a prostitute is illegal. Right? Everybody understands that, right? Being a prostitute in America is illegal. But this is what makes America so disgusting. This is what makes America so goddamn evil. This is what makes our oppressor so disgusting and evil and wicked. It is illegal to be a prostitute. It is illegal to have sex for money. But it's not illegal as long as it's done in front of a camera. And that's called pornography. Now think about that. This is why the Lord says this is the land of whoredom. And this is the land of wickedness. America is the land that has failed in whoredom. America is the land that has failed into wickedness. And we are living in that land. Think about it. Selling, having sex for money is illegal. But to have sex for money in front of a camera, right, is absolutely legal. Our oppressor is the goddamn devil that the Bible speaks of. Right. Doing something strange for a piece of change. I'm gonna use that. And doing something strange for a piece of change. God, I'm gonna use that one. Salaki, I'm gonna have to steal that from you off the water. doing something strange for a piece of change. Like, that's what happens to our daughters and our sisters, man. It's a very sad, sad thing, man. Like, the Lord never intended this lifestyle for our sisters. Like, this is a lifestyle that our sisters were never supposed to live. Like, this is a lifestyle that our sisters were never supposed to go into, man. But no thanks to the Christian church, and no thanks to the Christian church enabling our sisters to adopt this filthy, disgusting lifestyle from our oppressors in America. Our sisters become whores and prostitutes and sluts and hoes. Some of our sisters think the only way out and the only way to make money is to be a porn star, or to get a OnlyFans account, or to start some disgusting page. Alright, whatever the hell it is. Y'all get the point, right? It's just disgusting. Moving on. Let's get it. Let's get Con, right, OnlyFans, disgusting. Con, Aquap, that's true. Right. If it cannot be taxed, that's correct. That's correct, Aquap. But it's so disgusting to have a law like that's why we should not be following America. Taxes should, just because something cannot be taxed or can be taxed, should not deviate or dictate if something is okay to do morally. You understand? How crazy is that? As long as it can be taxed, hey, live your life. Enjoy. As long as I get money, hey, live your life and enjoy. That is so filthy and so disgusting. You understand? Like, that is just terrible leadership. Disgusting leadership. Let's get Ecclesiasticus chapter 23. We'll end it with this. Ecclesiasticus chapter... I didn't say Susanna. Ecclesiasticus chapter 23. All right. That's what happened with the Women's Liberation Act. Like, women to be liberated. That's true. Aquab is correct. Our oppressor is the damn devil that the Bible speaks of. All right, let's get Ecclesiasticus chapter 23, verse 22. Thus shall it go also with the wife that leaveth her husband and bringeth in an heir by another. So now, to give you a backdrop, right? This is talking about breaking wedlock, meaning breaking your marriage, like before. So, I'm going to go up to verse 21. It says, this man shall be punished in the streets of the city, and where he can suspect it not, he shall be taken. Now, this was talking about breaking wedlock, meaning breaking your marriage. Now, in the beginning, it was explaining how a man would break a marriage. When a man decides to have sex with one woman, and they leave her and have sex with another woman, and then leave her and have sex with another woman, and then leave her and have sex with another woman, and then leave her and have sex with another, leave her, and just keep having sex with a whole bunch of women, even though according to the Bible, sex is marriage. That is breaking wedlock. That is breaking your marriage. You are not to leave the woman you lay down with. You are not to leave the woman that you have sex with, because sex is marriage according to the Bible, and marriage is for life, until death do you apart. That's where they get it from. They get it from the Bible. Alright? So now, it says, thus shall it go also, meaning the very same thing. Right? The very same thing, meaning the very same punishment that the brother would go through, because he broke his marriage and kept having sex with woman after woman after woman and just throwing them away, the same thing, the same punishment will also go to a woman with the wife that leaveth her husband and bringeth in an heir by another. Meaning the same thing, right? The very same punishment, right? For that man will also go to a woman if she left her husband and brought an heir from another from another man. Does anybody know what an heir is? An heir is a child. So if you leave your husband and bring an heir by another, meaning you now have a child by another man. So you left your first man, got with the second man, and then you had a child with that man. What does it now? Doesn't it sound like something that happens in the Black, Hispanic, and Native American community far too many times and often? This sounds like this happens often, right? A woman leaving her man and then having sex with another man and then having a child by that man. Huh? That sounds familiar, right? This happens all the time with our Black, Hispanic, and Native American women. They leave their man and then get another man and then have children with that man. And then they end up leaving that man again, leaving that man and then getting another man and then having a child by that man. And now she has 3 baby fathers. And then she leaves that man and gets with another man and gets a 4th child, and now she has 4 baby fathers. Now how crazy is that? Does it sound familiar to you? Right? This is in the Bible. It says, thus shall it go also with the wife that leaveth her husband, and bringeth an heir by another. The same punishment for a man that breaketh his marriage, that leaves his wife, leaves his wife, and then gets another woman and have sex with her, then leave her, and then have sex with another and leave her, and not keeping them, right? Like, this is against the Lord. What happens if he leaves her? Then that's breaking a marriage. He is wrong too. A man cannot leave his wife. A man cannot leave his woman. All right? Unless she commits adultery, a man cannot leave his woman. All right? So what happens if he leaves her? A man cannot leave his woman. Now, if he does leave her, he is in sin, and he committed adultery, and you did not in that case. If that was the case. So if you have a husband, let's say you have a husband, or a sister's married, whatever the case may be, and her husband decides to leave her, right? He committed the sin of adultery, and she did not. All right? Everybody understands? Now, verse 23. For first, she hath disobeyed the law of the Most High. So first, right? So first, she hath disobeyed the law of the Most High. And secondly, she hath trespassed against her own husband. So now it says, for first, she hath disobeyed the law of the Most High. What was the law that she broke? So for first, she hath disobeyed the law of the Most High. It says, can she remarry? She can remarry. Because her husband committed adultery. And obviously, he's not coming back. All right? But you would get counsel on that specific situation. All right? You would have to get a specific counsel on that situation if that applies to you. But biblically, if your husband commits adultery, meaning that he leaves you and does not want to take you back at all, even though you did not commit adultery, and he leaves you, then yes, you can remarry. Now that deals with if you are in the truth. Okay? If you are in the truth, okay? So if you are in the truth as a sister, right, and you are married, if you are in the truth as a sister and you are married, all right. Okay, so if you are in the truth as a sister and are married, all right, and your husband decides to leave you, all right, he commits adultery. All right, he committed adultery, and 9 times out of 10, right, because he's so goddamn Christian, right, he's not going to keep both of you as his wives, because of course he has a worldly mentality because he already left you. So he's most likely going to be with the other woman and choose the other woman over you, and then well, yada yada yada. All right. Of course, in that specific situation, you would just get counsel. All right. What is she supposed to do to take care of the kids? You said don't put him on child support. Okay, taking care of children. Okay. Okay. That depends on. Okay, once again. That depends on a specific situation, and that's more so like counsel wise. So to answer your question briefly, no, do not put the father of your children on child support. There is no need for him to go on child support. Now, of course, all right, of course, most men are going to help out where he can in order to financially support his children. Most men will do that. All right, most men do not need to go on child support in order to take care of his kids. If you want to refrain from child support, period, then look into getting a man that won't leave you. All right, that's the problem that we have to understand. A lot of our women have been choosing men, right, that will leave them, or you left him. But let's talk in the context of him leaving you. Stop choosing a man that's going to leave you. Choose a man that's going to stay with you. So child support is never a question. All right. All right. So no, you don't put him on child support and take care of the kids how you would always take care of the kids. All right. Of course, if you're having trouble, right? If you're in the school, you're in the truth, all right, and you need help with your children. We have brothers and sisters that will help you with your children before you decide to put your man on child support. All right. What if he does nothing? Oh well, he's doing nothing. All right. All right. If he's doing nothing, he's doing nothing. Allow him to continue to do nothing. Brothers, what if he doesn't even acknowledge them? That's once again. Okay, so once again, when you come into this truth, you have a new family that you're now married into, right? Which is God's family that Christ was talking about, I want to say in Mark, all right? When Christ said, this is my brother back here, and this is my sister, all right? We are going to acknowledge, when you come into this school, come into this truth, your children become our children. We will acknowledge your children. If the father of your kids do not acknowledge them, so what? God acknowledges your children. In the Isupk, we acknowledge your children. All right? Child support is never an excuse to put any man on child support. No excuse for it. Back here, we take care of the nation of Israel, and we take care of our brothers, and we also take care of our sisters, all right? And we take care of our children. All right? Moving on. For first, ye have disobeyed the law of the Most High. So it says, for first, she disobeyed the law of the Most High because she left her husband. You are not to leave your husband. That was the law. You were not to leave your husband. And secondly, she had trespassed against her own husband. So she didn't just leave her husband, right? She also left her husband and had sex with another man. And thirdly, she had played the whore in adultery and brought children by another man. And thirdly, when she did have sex with this man, she ended up getting pregnant and having his child. Like, this is against God's law in the Bible for a woman to leave her man and have sex with another man and have a child by another man. It's literally against God to be a baby mother. You are not allowed to be a baby mama. You are not allowed to be one. You are to be a wife. The Lord wants you to be a wife and not a baby mother, right here in the Bible. You are not to have more than one baby daddy. That is against God. That is literally against the Lord. Now, of course, coming into the truth, right? Now you know that you are not allowed to have more than one baby father, right? Meaning, the husband that you have now is the husband you stay with. And you have no more baby fathers after that. You just have a husband. Alright? I pray you understand. Anything that's in the past before you come to this truth does not exist. It never happened. The Lord wiped it away. It's in the past. It never happened. What happened now is you have a husband now, or you're going to get a husband, and that is going to be your husband, and you no baby father, no baby mother, none of that. Alright? None of that bull crap. None of that. Alright? You want to stay focused on the fact that when you are married, you are not allowed to leave your husband to get another man and get pregnant by another man. Alright? A lot of our sisters, a lot of our Black, Hispanic, and Native American sisters have adopted the lifestyle and being okay with being a baby mother and having more than one baby father, when the Lord is absolutely against that type of lifestyle. And the Lord is absolutely against it. You are not allowed to have sex with more than one man and have children by more than one man. That is not the culture of Israelite women. That's not the culture of Israelites. Especially, that is not the character or the conduct of an Israelite woman. Black and Hispanic and Native Americano, Native American women are not allowed to be whores and prostitutes and have sex with a whole bunch of men and have more than one baby father. It's against the Lord. I just read it in the Bible. These are not my words, these are the words of the Lord. Alright? Like I said, it happened in the past is in the past. When you know this truth, if you have a husband, then you have a husband. You understand that? And when you come into this truth, and you learn how to be an actual sister, and you truly become a woman of the Lord, that's when you're no longer a female dog. That's when you stop acting like a female dog. Alright? To answer your question, Aqua, that's what happens when you come into this truth and learn how to be a sister and learn how to be a woman of God, then you are no longer that female dog. Not even if you were one. That's if you were one. Alright? Not that doesn't necessarily mean you were one, by the way. Because you couldn't have been one. You could have been a tender and delicate sister. You could have been that sister. And you just came into the truth. Or you could have been a non-tender and delicate sister and been that female dog and came to the truth and became that delicate and tender sister that the Lord talked about how our women used to be. That the soles of their foot never touched the ground. You understand that? Everybody understand? Khan Allah. Everybody gets it? All right. With that, I say, Martin, just up here. With that, men of Israel, we're going to give a courteous salute to the brothers. Men of Israel, Martin Shabbat, Amari, Barak, Yahweh Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shah Bakatham, Yadim Matah. Salah Aquafa means turn and face the sisters, turn to the sisters, Salaki. Men of Israel, we're going to give a courteous salute to the sisters. Men of Israel, Amari Shabbat, Amari, Salaki, Barak, Yahweh Shema Alathan Ba'ashim Yahweh Shah. Yadim Matah. With that, class dismissed.